First, we're going to start by removing the negative terminal to the battery and placing a cloth underneath the terminal to prevent connection. First, we'll start by exposing the 2 screws in the pocket of the door. You'll need a pick tool, next, we'll remove the cover to expose the screw under the handle. Note the position of the 2 cables, black being on the bottom, white being on top. We'll remove the connectors and the controls for the door. As well as the pedal wheel. Be sure to replace any missing clips. Use your panel tool and replace them accordingly. We're going to remove the factory speaker connector from the speaker. Up and remove the factory speaker and install our OEM speaker. Please note that there are 2 additional clips that will need to be removed and replaced into the door panel at the center point. From here we will connect the puddle light back into its receptacle. Replace the factory connector into the door controls. And as notated before, the black cable on the bottom and the white cable on top. Reinstall the door panel. To remove the speaker grill to access the tweeter, your clip is located right here, parallel with the corner of the vent. Using a pry tool, wedge under and lift, releasing the panel, giving you access to this clip here, where you can use your pick tool to release the factory speaker connector. To release the factory tweeter from the grill, you have a clip on this side and a clip on this side. Gently bending this clip back will give you enough to release it to where you can insert a pick tool and easily lift the tweeter out. Before reinserting the OEM tweeter, be sure to gently bend this clip back positioning the OEM tweeter securely into the grill. Reinstall the factory connector into the OEM tweeter. So first we're going to remove this panel here, which will allow us to release the panel above the glove box. With a pry tool, wedge into the top to give yourself room to grab. And prop that over. From here, firmly grip the side. Release the panel. You will then need a Phillips screwdriver to remove this screw to release the vent, and this screw to release this panel. By removing this Phillips head screw to release this panel. At this point, we recommend placing a piece of masking tape over the push start as not to score the plastic with the panel as you remove it. This will give you access to remove the vents as well as the 10mm bolts that are holding in the radio. Here we will remove the vents and unplug the factory connector for the hazard lights. This will give you access to these two 10mm bolts and the two 10mm bolts below, which will allow you to remove the radio. Placing a protective blanket over the shifter and remove the factory radio. To start the disassembly of the driver's side, you'll need a pick tool to remove this clip. From there, you'll remove this panel. Which will then allow you to remove the kick panel. After removing the driver's side kick panel, we're going to release our weather stripping. Using a pry tool, lift our carpet, revealing a wiring path that our OEM harness is going to follow. Not through. We will then secure the OEM Audio Plus harness above the airbag, staying clear of the steering column and following it down over to the kick panel. Following the wiring path Subaru has provided, secure the OEM Audio Plus harness to the factory wiring harness. Following this channel to the back of the vehicle. With our OEM Audio Plus harness neatly secured in the wiring path, we'll take our free-floating power wire and neatly lay it on the body of the vehicle, leaving enough slack to enter the engine compartment. Finally securing, we'll start the removal of the back door panel by releasing the weather stripping, giving us access to bring this off. Then we'll take your 10mm bolt so that we can remove the back seat. From here, you will lift up and press down firmly on the base of the seat. You will need to remove the factory connector from the rear seat and remove the seat from the vehicle. Remove the driver's side rear door panel. We will start by removing rear insert. And then by removing these two clips, to reveal a third clip that's holding the rear door panel. Continue by removing the clip, the base, you have clips here, 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 and here to start with, and additionally clip here, clip over here. Drop the seat. Follow this path along the body of the car with our OEM audio harness. Using a clip removal tool, you will need to release these 3 mounting points in order to remove this styrofoam insert. Be sure to place your hand over the clips as not to lose them. Revealing our wiring path for the OEM Audio Plus harness. Neatly secure the OEM Audio Plus harness along the following wire path. Exiting to the amplifier's mounting location. After removing the rear cavity insert, noting that the curve goes towards the front of the vehicle, we're going to take our provided foam, placing it in the cavity, and taking our OEM Audio Plus amplifier system with the green connector pointed towards the front of the vehicle, placing it flush with the middle wall and the rear wall. With the amplifier flush against both walls, using a pick tool or a small screwdriver, we're going to punch a hole straight through the bottom of the provided foam, as well as the rear deck insert. Using the provided hardware and washers, we will secure the amplifier bracket to the insert. Using a 3mm Allen key, along with the washer and nut provided, hold the bolt in place from the back, placing the washer in between the nut and the foam. We recommend hand tightening as not to pinch the foam too much. Repeat on the other sides. After running the harness and replacing the rear foam insert. Be sure to replace all clips. From there, we will take a marker and we will cut a channel for the OEM Audio Plus harness to lay into. Be sure when you're marking it to keep the channel within the flat corner of the rear insert. Using a razor blade, cut a channel straight down into the foam on both sides of the marker. If necessary, use your razor blade to cut through on both sides. Make sure the channel is deep enough so that the harness sits without hitting the cardboard insert in the rear of the vehicle. After routing the OEM Audio Plus harness, as well as the ground and the provided C13 through the cut slot, we recommend taking the excess foam, pressing down, and using a marker to draw a line. From here, we will cut below the marked line, leaving us with a foam insert to replace the gap. There will be a piece of double-sided tape provided to hold this block in place. You will need to remove this panel to secure the mounting hardware for the enclosure. You will need to remove all 5 clips as well as this small access. To remove the foam insert holding the tire iron, you will need a clip tool to remove this clip, allowing you from here. We will need to remove these 3 clips. Using that same clip tool if necessary. There are 3 securing points from which you can just lift straight up. And remove the trim from underneath the weather strip. From here, we will be able to remove the insert, giving us access to the mounting location. This 10mm bolt is our factory ground location. Using a piece of sandpaper, we want to remove the paint off of the base of this factory amplifier location. You will use the provided 10mm bolt to secure the OEM Audio Plus ground to this location. Once you have the raw metal exposed, it is now safe to secure the ground to its location. You will need a wrench or a deep 10mm socket to complete the process. For the installation of the mounting hardware for the enclosure, you will need the provided bolts, both washers, and the 10mm nut. You will also need a 4mm Allen wrench and a 10mm wrench, preferably with a ratcheting end. You will place one washer all the way to the end of the nut. It will go into the factory mounting holes that our black clips came out of. It will be inserted from the backside. You will place the other washer up against it, followed by the 10mm nut that is included. Bolts will feed through the respective holes on the carpeted panel that was removed from this section. We will now be replacing the carpeted insert. The two bolts that we just installed will go through the two top locations, leaving only 3 fasteners to be replaced. Be sure to tuck this edge back under the weather stripping. We don't recommend removing this weather stripping as it is glued down. We will now replace the insert that holds the tire iron. Be sure to reinsert the fastener in its location. At this point, we will run the included 3-foot umbilical, plugging it into our C13 with the provided foam tape. We will cover the connectors to prevent rattling on the road. Follow this path between the gaps of the foam insert, leaving about 6 inches to plug in your enclosure and move it if necessary. We will be replacing the plastic trim into this location, noting that these 4 mounting points will go in these 4 locations. You will then take your 3 fasteners, securing the trim in place. You will then walk the edge of the weather stripping to cover the piece of the trim. Replacing the rear driver's side panel. Replacing the rear driver's side panel, please note that this lip will go over this bracket for the seat. The panel should fall into place. Firm presses. And you can replace the fastener in its appropriate location. That is not the appropriate location. Now that we have the door panel in, we will replace one of 2 fasteners. The second one being behind the seat before securing the carpeted panel. Here we will replace the seat base, noting the fastener as well as the connector. First we will replace the connector, and then noting that the hook is in this position and this is where it needs to go. So pushing the seat down, and sliding in an upward motion will lock our seat in place. From here, we will replace the 10mm bolt that we previously removed. Securing the seat in place. For this portion, we will replace a fastener that sits under the carpeted panel. Bringing the rear panel back into its original position. Securing it. At this point, we will replace the floor panel for the rear of the vehicle, leaving the length of our subwoofer umbilical exposed. Here, we will plug in our subwoofer umbilical into our enclosure, tucking away any excess under the panel. Here we will mount the enclosure into the 2 bolts that we placed in the factory location of the clips. You will have 2 10mm nuts as well as the washers, which will be inserted inside of the enclosure. We will remove all 6 7mm carefully remove the woofer. And the foam padding inside. Using an extension and a 10mm deep socket, secure the enclosure. After securing the enclosure, replace the foam insert, as well as the speaker, being sure not to pinch or bind any of the wiring. Use a pick tool or a small screwdriver to line up the holes. We recommend hand tightening each bolt initially in a star pattern to evenly distribute pressure. Gently secure the rest of the bolts. We recommend using a wrench over a power drill as not to strip the screws. Be sure not to over tighten. This grommet location is where our power wire will run through. We recommend using a pick tool or a sharp object to poke a hole through it so you can see it from the underside. You will need to remove the gas pedal, which is secured by these two 10mm bolts and this connector. Behind this unit, you will find the grommet, which will be behind the padding so above these two bolts, where our pedal is secured, you will find the grommet. We have cut away a piece of the padding so that it is easily visible. This is where your power wire will be run. Using a panel tool, remove the bottom and top fasteners to allow you to bring the carpet forward. We recommend running the power wire underneath the carpet and behind the mounting point of the gas pedal. After bringing the power wires through the respective grommet, secure using provided wire ties along the top edge of the engine compartment. Cover these wires with the provided corrugated loom.